Talking about CLR and 19-volt rail or main adapter rail on motherboard can be a very wide topic on motherboard, but I'll try as much as possible to simplify this for better understanding sake, and I'll try as much as possible to keep this short. If you are talking about CLR, basically the generic concept of motherboard is if the adapter voltage is inserted in the motherboard, then it travels through two basic components, which are MOSFET. Basically sometimes it could be one, but the basic one is two. Basically that's what you find around mostly. So after passing through these two components, which are MOSFET, then it gets to the CLR. That is the basic concept. Now the problem now is, how do we get to identify the MOSFET and the CLR component? Basically the CLR component is resistor. The resistor there is why they are calling the section, the particular point, CLR point. That is the point where the adapter voltage and battery voltage meet each other. Now in order to identify CLR, sometimes you can be able to identify it by merely looking at the motherboard, and sometimes you will have to use multimeter. Most of the time it's always closer to the charging port, and sometimes too it will be closer to the battery terminal. To identify this particular component, like I said basically there is two components. First thing first, you will need your continuity mode of your multimeter. You will need the continuity mode of your multimeter. And doing that, once you are done setting your continuity mode, just as this, you can confirm your meter and see if the beep is coming. Now the beep is coming. The next thing is to place your probe, one part of your probe, for instance your positive probe at the positive terminal of your battery connector, your adapter connector. Then you begin to drag your black probe around all the MOSFETs around the charging port or battery terminal. As you can see, this charging port and battery terminal are closer to each other, so I'll do that by starting with this. If there is continuity between this particular pin and anyone, as you can see, this is the first MOSFET, like I said, and once there is input on this particular pulse MOSFET, then from the output you have to check what is connected from the output, and obviously one can tell it is this particular one that is next to it, which is this. So you can check, and as you can see, this is also connected here, telling me that this is my first MOSFET, this is my second MOSFET. You will find a big resistor around it. If you can't find it on this surface, then if you come on the other part, you will find the resistor, something like this. So this is basically your CLR. Like I said, sometimes you can look at it and decide. If you look closely here, you will notice at this particular point, these two are connected. If you can see this clearly, this particular two are connected. Sometimes it will be straightforward. And this is another laptop motherboard here, and look at this. You can see you can't find any MOSFET around here, and basically if you can't find it here, then you can switch to the other side of the motherboard and see. And as you can see this is one here, this is one here, this is another MOSFET here, and this you can still say this is far away. If it is not around here, then go close to the battery connector. This is the battery connector here as well, and if you look closely, there is no much MOSFET around here. So first thing first, let's start around this particular one. So like the first one, I'll place my probe at the positive part of this particular pin here. Then I'll come to the other side. First thing first, I'll place my probe here at the positive part of the charging port here, and I'll come to the other side. If I'm at the other side, I have my multimeter at the continuity ring. Then I'll check and see if there is any MOSFET connected to the. Now you can see we have this particular MOSFET to be connected. And the next thing is I will check. If you check from any part of the motherboard now, you will not get continuity again, unless if there is problem here. And as you can see, there is no continuity here. And basically I can tell, since this is the first one here, you can see there is straight connection between this particular track down to this one, which means this is the second one and this is my CLR. But we can confirm that by using multimeter as well. I'll place this particular red probe at the output of the first MOSFET that I've identified, and I'll see on which particular pin it is connected. You can see it is connected to this particular MOSFET, so telling me this is the first MOSFET, this is the second MOSFET, and this is my CLR. So from this CLR, the adapter voltage is being distributed to the entire motherboard. So that is that on this. And if I am to check on this particular one here, this particular motherboard I have here, you can see this is the charging port here, and on this surface there is no MOSFET, which means if I go to the other part of the motherboard, the MOSFET will be the MOSFET will be there. The basic thing you should know is find it closer to the battery terminal or adapter terminal. So the next thing is to let me show you guys on this particular motherboard as well. I'll come here, I'll connect my charging port. This is the positive line of this particular one here, and as you can see there is no MOSFET around here. Basically what you are targeting if you are looking for first MOSFET and second MOSFET is just a MOSFET. It can be big one, it can be small one, it can be medium one. You can see there is no MOSFET around here. The next thing is I go to the battery connector. You can see we have a lot of MOSFET around this battery connector, so I can start from there by connecting my positive probe to the positive terminal. The MOSFET should be around here, so not here, not this. Okay, this is the MOSFET here, this is the first MOSFET here. And about MOSFET, you know we have drain and source. If this is my drain here, then the source is going to be the output, so I will check what is connected to the source as well. And as you can see, this particular one is connected, which means, and if you check from this particular point to anywhere, you will not get continuity. So all this point I'm checking, that is the only place they are connected to, so you cannot find it connected to any other MOSFET again. So if this is my second MOSFET, then this is my CLR. So from this particular CLR now, the voltage is going to the entire motherboard. And if you need to see this closely, this is the first MOSFET here, this is the second MOSFET here. And as you can see, they use small MOSFET here, medium MOSFET here. Sometimes they can use bigger MOSFET to do the first and second MOSFET. So on this particular motherboard as well, you can see this is the positive line. So and obviously one can tell why I'm showing you this basically is that this is the CLR of this particular motherboard, and you can see this one is bigger than the one I've been using. So now this is the positive and this is the first MOSFET, second MOSFET. We can also use multimeter. I just want you guys to understand the structure of positive and negative. And as you can see here, this is the first MOSFET here, because this is obvious, you can see. And from this particular first MOSFET, if I check continuity on any part, you will not get. But if I pick it from the output of this particular first MOSFET and check somewhere else, you can see now this is the second MOSFET. The same thing goes with this. From this particular point, if not here, it is not connected to anywhere. The only place that is connected to is IC, not MOSFET anymore. So now this is the first MOSFET, this is the second MOSFET, and this is the CLR here. So you can have your CLR to be like this, or your CLR to be like the first one I've been showing you guys.